Hi, my name is Cindy. If you have been here before, I'm so glad you came back. And if you're new, welcome to Z9 Designs. Today I'm going to show you some items that I made for a porch, patio, or just an outside table. So be sure to subscribe, like, save, and comment. It really helps my channel grow. DIY number 1, a floral resin paperweight. You're probably saying to yourself, what does this have to do with garden and porch decor? Well, let me show you. The supplies needed include some resin, and I got this from Dollar Tree, $1.25, some dried florals, it's $1 from Temu, some tweezers, and a mold. I already had that in my stash, but to purchase it, it was $2. This DIY was a fail and a win. I took my resin and I mixed the two parts together per directions. One was a hardener and the other was the clear epoxy, and I followed the directions that said to mix them in equal proportions. So I mixed them together and I poured them into my molds. And then I lovingly placed the dried flowers around the bubble mold and waited for it to harden. Now I had a little bit of the mixture left over, so I poured it into a smaller mold. And in the morning, the bubble mold was all gooey. And I thought, I'll just give it more time, but it never hardened, even after 3, 4, 5, 6 days. So I just ended up throwing it out. However, the smaller mold hardened and made a beautiful paperweight. So what does this have to do with porch or garden? Well, this paperweight can be used to hold down your napkins while you're having your morning tea, breakfast, or maybe even a dinner outside. Well, it is still cold where I live, so I can't even think about styling anything outside. But it can also be used in your home to hold down papers or put on top of books. It's very pretty, as the flowers inside are beautiful. The amount spent, this included the waste that I had, $2.25. But if you were to include the mold, it would be $4.25, which is still under $5. DIY number 2, a rub-on nature oil light. Supplies needed include some rub-on florals. This is from Amazon, and one sheet, that's all I used. I probably didn't use all of that. One sheet was $1.50. This is from Wayland 10-sheet vintage floral rub-on transfers. An oil lamp with sticks. This was gifted. White flat spray paint, 50 cents. Painter's tape, 5 cents. And oil, about approximately 2 ounces, 75 cents. This was a lovely gift from a friend, and it was easy to DIY. Because sometimes with gifts that you receive, you love them, but sometimes you like to put your own spin on them. So I put painter's tape on the oil lamp, and sprayed it with flat white spray paint. And let it dry. I had purchased some of the Wayland sheet vintage floral rub-on transfers and barely used the sheet. However, I cut out a bird, flowers, feathers, and butterflies. And I just rubbed them above the white line, and I just strategically placed them on the oil lamp. It was looking so beautiful. And then I just poured some oil into the lamp with a funnel. And lit the sticks for a beautiful ambiance in the evening on the porch. And this would be really great in the summertime. In fact, it might keep the mosquitoes away. Only thing, you have to be careful because it is glass. Now, this was a total of $2.80. If I had to purchase the main item, it would have gone over $5. So if you want to spruce up the items you have been gifted, just go right ahead and make them you. DIY number 3, summer lace nightlight. Supplies needed include Mod Podge, $1.25, lace, it was thrifted, I would say at the most 50 cents, a wooden luminous base lamp with 6 LED lights was only 97 cents. I just love this. This is just great. This is from Temu. And then in my stash was a large Christmas bulb, and that was $1.25. It still had the tag on it, so I hadn't used it. I thought this was so pretty to have on your porch in the springtime. You have a pretty lace light and the moon is shining bright. How about that? Kind of poetic. I found a torn lace top in a box and took it because I thought, I could make something out of it in the future. Well, I had a bright idea to cover a Christmas ornament with lace. And I found that large ornament in my stash, and I thought I would just try it out and see if it would fit on the wooden luminous base lamp. And wow, it fit and it was a hit. I used Mod Podge to apply the lace over the ornament until it was all covered. Now I used kind of the lighter lace around the ornament first, and then I placed the floral lace flowers that I had cut out from the top. And I just placed them around the ornament until it was all covered. In fact, I used every single flower that was on the top. I placed some cling wrap on the ornament after the Mod Podge was applied, and this was just to make sure that the flowers were on the ornament tightly and just kind of help mold it into the round shape so you didn't have anything that was like sticking out. Then I just removed the cling wrap and let it dry overnight. And you can just stand it up. I think I put it on one of the bottles and just let it dry overnight. Then I put it in the center of the lamp base and I turned it on. It has a beautiful warm light highlighting the flowers for a nice spring summer look. This is fantastic, and it only costs $3.97. And to me, that's a win. So, sometimes you think that things that you see, I don't need that. But, you got to think past that. What could I possibly use that? And, I can also see that you may want to use it on some ornaments and just do your tree with lace. That would be beautiful. Let's move on to the collaboration hosts. Today is 5 Under 5 Garden and Porch Decor. Now, this is an open challenge, and it is hosted by Farm Charm Chic, and the guest host is Our Gray House. The theme is garden and porch decor. Now, these women are wonderful and kind crafters, so make sure you check out their channels, subscribe, like, save, and comment. And the link to their channels is in the description box below. Now, in addition, there are other fine crafters that are interpreting the theme in their own way. So be sure to like, subscribe, save, and comment on their channels. The link to the playlist is in the description box below. DIY number 4. This is a colorful paper mache shallow bowl. The supplies needed include 2 egg cartons, and these are free. You know, once you eat all the eggs, you've got these cartons and you can always repurpose it. Think about that. White glue, $1.25. You need some hot water, a blender used for only crafts, paper napkin, that was in my stash, but if you're going to put a number to it, 5 cents. Acrylic paint in white and blue sarcelle, Sorcita. It is kind of a turquoise, I would say, and I only used about 25 cents of that. Mod Podge, about 75 cents. Some cling wrap, a plate for a mold, and rub and buff, 10 cents. Probably not even 10 cents. I've had this rub and buff for such a long time, so I would think it would be less than that. Now, this was a thought that I had that could be used on your porch under your umbrella or with some flowers or fruit. However, you don't want to leave it out in the rain. So I tore some pieces of egg carton and put it in my craft blender, poured some hot water to cover the contents, and I just let it sit for about 6 hours or more, because what that does, it helps break down the fiber. Then I blended it until it was mush, and then I used a strainer to release most of the water, and then I put some white glue and mixed it well. And I got it to a soft consistency, maybe a little bit on the stiff side, but that is okay because you don't want it really runny. Then it was time for me to lay the mixture over my shallow bowl that I found in my stash. So what you want to do is place some cling wrap over the shallow bowl, and then you want to begin laying the mixture over the bowl and until you get the desired shape. And now it was drying time, and I'm a little impatient with the drying time, and because it took about 3 days to dry, and so I said, well, let me put it in the oven for 10 to 20 minutes. So I did that. Then I removed it and placed it over the bowl to finish it drying, but I would just let it dry naturally. I would not. Because I was going to put a napkin inside the bowl, I painted it white and I just let it dry. And then I applied Mod Podge over the bowl, and of course you got to move the 2 plies from the napkin, and I just kind of start laying it in the bowl. It was shallow, and it doesn't matter, you can overlap it just a little bit, not too much, but if you don't have to overlap it at all, that was fine too. And then I painted the outside of the bowl, and this was called Blue Sarcelle Sorcita, and I just let it dry. And the crowning beauty of this bowl was putting rub and buff around the edges of the bowl and then the inside. Now, this is not food safe, no liquid or strawberries or anything like that, but bananas probably would be okay. So flowers and other inanimate objects would be most favorable. Now, this bowl only costs $2.40, and I just love the look of this bowl for my porch decor this summer. So what are your thoughts about this one? Would you do this? I have another idea in mind that I will do at a later time. We'll see. So my last DIY is Hand's Succulent Holder. Supplies needed include a hands mold, and this was in my stash. Succulents, this was in my stash. So the only thing that I am going to charge for this one is plaster of Paris that I used. It was about $2.75 worth. This is the easiest and the best of all to make. I mix approximately 1 pound of plaster of Paris and cold water. I mix them together until you get to that soft mixture that is not too hard, is not too firm, it's more liquidy but not too liquid. And I poured it into the mold and I just let it sit overnight. In the morning, I was so anxious to see what it would look like, because sometimes when you pour the plaster of Paris in these molds, or even cement, the fingers are not all there. There might be a little hole in the finger or whatever. But as I removed the mold, it revealed a beautiful pair of hands, and I was so happy that it turned out well. And I didn't want to paint the hands, so I just left it natural. And I put some succulents in the hands and displayed it. This would be perfect on the porch outside with real succulents in the summer. I plan to probably make this out of cement, hopefully real soon. So we'll see. Well, that is all, Z9 Designs family. If you have liked what you've seen, please subscribe, like, save, and comment. Also, you can find me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Facebook. And thanks for watching. I appreciate all of your comments. And remember, never give anyone the power to take away your joy. See you later. Bye-bye.